Good morning, everybody. My name is Jared O'Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still got plenty of stuff to work on. Today, I am practicing limb independence. In all these almost 500 practice streams, you can find timestamps in the description to see what I was practicing or what kind of a question I was answering in the chats that I have up on my other monitor. Now, because I've been drumming for almost 30 years and because I have a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in music education, people ask me questions like, hey, how do I get better at drumming? Or how do I get better at teaching? And I will often edit those answers and put them into this drumming tips playlist that has 16 hours of different drumming Q&A across all of these different hundreds of live streams. There's over 100 videos in here, and the first thing that I talk about is whatever the title is. And then if it says, and other drumming tips, or and other teaching tips, that means there are more topics in there that might be of interest to you if the title is not of interest to you. Just use the timestamps to see what the topics are in advance. Now, if you see on my channel, any of the 600-ish videos that are currently listed as members first, they're all scheduled to release for free. For example, there's a new play-along that releases every single day. And then, like this video, this drumming tips video, comes out this upcoming Friday on how to practice longer. So stay tuned for that. If you want the early access, it's 99 cents, but it is 100% optional because, again, all of this stuff is going to come out for free. But to get the early access to the 600-ish videos, just click join, and then it's this. The other tiers on here are just extra levels of support if you want, but I promise they're all coming out for free. It just might literally be like a year and a half from now because there's so many videos. Now, because I am not good at limb independence yet, we're going to have Shia LaBeouf motivate me and you to practice. So, Shia, the great sage, help me out. Make sure it's not going to blast my eardrums out. Here we go. Need to get better. Do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success, while you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, wow, Shia LaBeouf. Everybody's super motivated. One more flex floor. Good luck. All right. I'm practicing limb independence today. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice a pattern that I made up. It's called pattern number 53. It's just, nothing fancy about it. And then I'm going to review this book. So I'm going through this sequentially. It's called 50 Ways of Syncopation by Don Moyle. I've already gone through and practiced every single one of these patterns and graduated from them. You'll see what I mean in a second. And the way that I did this was largely based off of Gary Chester's idea of limb interdependence that he talks about in New Breed 1 and New Breed 2. Now, I've taken all of Dom's patterns, which are from, again, 50 Ways of Syncopation, and I put it inside of this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet keeps track of how I'm doing on average in column A. So on average, this one is technically proficient. And when you scroll all the way through all of this, that's off of all of these times that I played through this over the last year or so. So you can find all of these patterns from here inside of this spreadsheet that I made for myself, and it makes it so that I can practice it. I'm skipping, when I'm practicing in these streams, you can skip all of the stuff that you're already good at. So that's what I highly recommend in general. So I'm skipping all the technically proficient and musical ones, and I'm going all the way over to pattern number 53, which is one that I'm not good at yet. So I've just placed it right here. And if you are on the horizontal, it's right there. So the pattern that I'm working on is a 3/4 Soca. You did it. Good job. I'm proud of you. High five. So the Soca pattern with a hi-hat, normally what you do is 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN, 1 EN, 2 EN, 3 EN, 4 EN. Okay? So we're doing a shup on the EN and just playing that rhythm. So normally you do something like that. But instead of playing it as 16th notes, I'm going to play it as triplets. So instead of going da-da-da, 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 da-da, I'm going to go triplet, 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 triplet. Okay, so we're doing 3 of them in the space of 4 quarter notes. So it's going to slow down. So we're playing this while I'm going to read swung patterns on snare drum, if it's 8th notes. Anything longer than 8th note, I'm going to play on the bass drum. Now, the way that I'm going to do this is using the charts that are on my YouTube channel's home tab, or by going to the link that's at the top of the screen. So jaredoleary.com/drum. This is linked in every one of the thousands of free drumming videos that are on my YouTube channel. Okay, so if you're a rudimental drummer like myself, drum kit is something I'm doing for fun. But the chop section has a ton of exercises, 80 exercises that you can work on. My favorite one to check out is the shopping spree playlist. There's a bunch of shopping sprees in there. There's over 1,000 grid variations for triplet and for 16th note, as well as some wacky ones like Herta grid. This is where I'm practicing. I'll come back to that in a minute. There's also almost 500 marching bass drum exercises. There's a bunch of drum line cadences in score format. There's over 200 sight reading exercises. There's over 400 technique exercises. If you want to work on something like endurance and speed, click on that playlist. If you want to work on stick control, click on that playlist. And then finally, inside of the tips and lessons is where you'll find over 16 hours of drumming tips just in this playlist alone, as well as all these other ones that are like scripted lessons, like how to hold traditional grip, etc. So a ton of resources available to you for free. And again, all the members' first ones are coming out for free, so you don't have to pay for any of this content. Now, I'm going to be working in this limb independence section. Every single one of these playlists links to this one, how to develop limb independence on the drum kit. It's the second video in all these playlists. The pattern I'm playing is technically a straight over swung. So the ostinato is straight, but the way I'm reading the charts is swung. So I'm going to go into the swung charts inside of here. And because I'm playing at 112, was it? Yeah, 112. I'm going to go inside of here, but it goes as slow as 40 to as fast as 240 if you want to play it faster or slower. Now, this is the video, by the way, that I was mentioning where you can learn how to do limb independence. This channel is a gem. Hey, I appreciate it. Just trying to help out. But it's like the thing that I was just demonstrating was my website, because like YouTube, if you go here, it doesn't show you everything as like neatly as I can on the website. So like it's not easy to see that, hey, there's over 1,000 play alongs just inside of this section alone, but you have to like click to actually show all the playlists. So you can stay on YouTube if you want. It's just, you know, not as organized as my website. But anyways, I'm going here. There's 55 charts at the moment, and I'm working on more, so stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and go with, I don't know, 21 through 25. And in all these thousands of free play-alongs, you can go into the timestamps to say, hey, I want to play this at 112, which is what I'm going to do. It will count off into my headphones. You can't hear it because there's a sync delay, but there is a play-along here. 1, 2, ready, and... So again, this is 3 over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Wish me luck. Hitting my stick. I don't know if you heard it, but it like was hitting the rim a little bit, so it gave it an extra rim shot sound. Not what I'm going for. Let me adjust where my hand placement is. And now we'll try the next chart. Chart number 22. 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Read that wrong. Unsub. Okay, so this is a 3/4 straight over swung pattern. Don't start with this. This one is wacky. This is taking me like a month and a half just to be able to play this. This one requires parental permission. If you don't have a signed permission slip, you can't try it. 1, 2, here we go. So again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops. It's really weird. It's a fun challenge though. But don't start with this. I'll review some easier ones here after I do a warm-up and stretch and massage. Cool, last chart. Woo-wee! Now, when you get to these like top lines of each one of these charts, you can either improvise or just play the ostinato, whatever you want. Practice soloing. What happened at the end? Okay, so most of the mistakes were from sticks hitting sticks or from me reading something wrong. So overall, it was mostly technically proficient. So going back into this spreadsheet, again, this is keeping track of how I'm doing on average. I'm going to mark it as technically proficient because overall that's what it was. But you'll notice that column A is still needs a lot of work because on average, across all these different times that I played through it, it still needs a lot of work, which is why I keep revisiting this over and over. I did this with every single one of these different limb independence patterns. But what I'm going to do now is stretch and massage, just take a couple minutes, and then I'm going to start reviewing all of them, because once I get through all of these as at least technically proficient or musical, then I'm going to do a stream where I do every single one of these all in one stream. So that's the plan, but I need a review before that. But first, stretch and massage. So, pattern that I'm going to do, I'm going to hide that one. But first stretch that I'm going to do is the sticks in my palm, facing up. This stretches the sides of the forearms. You pull and you pull and you push through. Ooh, it feels good. You have a question. I just see that. Is it Joel? What's your question? If you still want to ask it. And to get out of the stretch, just go the way that you came. Now, there's a video I'll show you after I do the stretch massage. It shows you how to stretch for rotary motions, like traditional grip or Stevens grip. But because they don't do those anymore, I'm not going to demonstrate that right now. But I'll show you that resource in a moment. What I'm going to do now is stretch the underside of the forearm. So I'm just pulling back gently. If you do the stretch on the wall, the lower you go, the deeper the stretch. So you can do 2 hands at a time, if you would like to. It just goes twice as fast. And then switch to the other hand. Ooh, left arm's a little tight. You might want to spend more time on each one of these stretches than me, or less time. It depends on how your forearms, hands, and fingers are feeling. You also might want to incorporate some upper body stretches, especially if you do rudimental stuff and you're carrying a drum. Now I'm stretching the top side, so it's the opposite of this. If you do this one on the wall, the higher you go, the deeper your stretch. Or you could just do it on your legs if you're like sitting down like this. Whatever you want to do. Hello on YouTube horizontal. And the last stretch, finger to finger. So we start with larger muscle grips and work our way down. So in a moment, we'll massage from forearm to hand to fingers. But again, you also might need to like stretch, massage your shoulders. But I do a workout before I do the streams, so I kind of loosen all that up beforehand. So I've already done it. ASMR? Oh, little one. Enjoy. Free of charge. Do, 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 do. And, ooh, that feels great. I'm just hold this for a bit. Why stretching to play the drums? Keep your hands nice and healthy. Been drumming for almost 30 years now, but it's probably about 5 or 6 years into drumming. I almost had to stop because hands were getting too tight and I could not drum. And so I met with a hand specialist, a doctor of handing, and worked with some other percussionists and came up with this stretch and massage routine that I've been doing ever since then and have taught to all my students back when I was teaching privately. But I don't have hand issues anymore now. Right now, you're showing me a level of immaturity that does not meet the standard threshold to be able to chat, so take a chill pill, relax. If you can't meet the bare minimum requirements to be on this ride, then sorry, you don't get to participate. You get a trophy though. The trophy is a band. Now I'm massaging the hand, so I'm doing fingers on the backside, thumb is massaging the inside of the hand. And then I've got one more quick massage to do. And then we will get into the next pattern that I'm going to review, which is pattern number 8. So the next 3 that I'm actually going to work on are like building off of each other. So they get increasingly more difficult. Why, hello on YouTube Vertical. All right. Since you're acting like a 5-year-old, we're going to put you in timeout for a little bit. So we're going to let you go see the principal. Enjoy your time there. Tell the principal I said hello. Haven't seen them in a while. The last massage I'm doing is base the tip of each one of the fingers. Now, class, if you're going to act disruptive, I will send you to the principal's office. As a former like classroom educator, that is something that I've had to do several times. And it's always a unique experience. Principals usually do a great job of handling it. Hey, this kid was swearing in class. Hey, this kid threw something in class. Hey, this kid got into a fight. But usually try to handle that in-house, didn't have to worry about it. Okay, play Cannibal Corpse? No, that's not what this stream is about. So this stream is a Q&A. So people will come into here and will ask me questions about how to get better as a drummer or how to get better as an educator. So for example, if you go to the home tab on YouTube, we've got like thousands of free play-alongs in here. You just got to click on the header for each one of them, and then it shows you like all the play-alongs for like grid or whatever. There's a ton of them. But if you scroll all the way down to the tips and lessons section, this one that has over 16 hours of like Q&A, this is from all the streams that I've done where I respond to different questions because I've been drumming for almost 30 years. And because I have a bachelor's, master's, and PhD in music education, people ask me questions about how to get better at performing or teaching. And so I will respond to them here. And if I don't get questions like that, then what I do is I just practice. So this is not a drum cover stream that you see most drummers doing. But I don't do that because I don't want a copyright violation. Okay, so the pattern that I'm playing is not the one that I just warmed up with, which was a 3/4 straight over swung. The one that I'm doing is much simpler than that. So pattern number 8 is this. So how fast did I do it? 7 billion beats a minute. All right, we'll try it 160 this time again. So the pattern is you're playing alternating triplets. It's very basic, but each one of these variations, pattern 8, 9, and 10, like layer on complexity to it. So this first one, all I'm doing is just alternating triplets. Now I'm going to read the charts by putting in accents basically on there. The only other thing that I'm doing for this variation is putting the hi-hat on 2 and 4. So instead of ding, 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 ding with hi-hat, I'm going to again, I'm putting you in timeout here. You're going to the principal's office. You got to demonstrate your ability to be mature in here. You'll notice I'm not a teenager. I'm an adult who's actually done things in life. This is a stream where you don't get to act like a child and stay in my chat. I have zero patience and time for that kind of nonsense. Life is too short. Anyways, let's scroll on here. So I'm specifically going into the limb independent section. This is my home tab of YouTube. Again, where you can find literally over 2,000 free exercises, drumming tips, etc. I'm specifically doing the limb independent stuff. And I'm going to do this at 160. So I'm doing a swung chart. So I'm going to go in the swung section. And I'm doing the swung drum charts from 160 to 240. I love you. And I don't love the drum charts. I love my wife. Okay, so I just did 21 through 25, I think. So I'm just going to go to the next one. So that way I can practice like sight reading and whatnot. So 26 through 30. In the timestamps of the description, you can jump to any BPM you want. Some of them go as slow as 20 beats a minute or as fast as 240. Okay, there's a little bit of an issue here. The drum trigger I'm using doesn't pick up all the notes, so you might not hear the taps. 1, 2, ready, and... Read some of the rhythms wrong. I'm so sorry. Unsubscribe. I know. I understand. I understand. You can't make mistakes on the interwebs. 1, 2, a 1, 2, ready, and... Okay, so again, very basic. Don't worry, we're gonna add in another layer of complexity in pattern number 9, and then another layer of complexity in pattern number 10 that we'll play here in a couple reps. Read that wrong? Cool, 2 more charts. And then we will level up and play a harder variation. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, and. Read that wrong? That's on the right, not the left. Jared, what are you doing? Alright, last chart. Again, you can improvise on the first line or just play the ostinato. If you knew Susie like I knew Susie, then you would like her too, like her too, like her too. If you knew Susie like I knew Susie, then you would like her too, like her too, like her too. It's a little inside joke for all you drumline people who know the exercise Susie. That's what the rhythms are right there. Anyways, cool. We just played through pattern number 8, and it was mostly technically proficient, aside from some reading errors, because Hooked on Phonics did not work for me. I need a refund. But overall, it was like mostly technically proficient, so I have passed this as a review. Now we're going to review the next one, which is pattern number 9. It's the exact same thing, but we're adding in some layers of complexity here. Okay, so let me paste it on here so you can see it. All right, if you're on the vertical, whoop. If you're on the horizontal, it's down there. So this exact same thing. So you're playing cool. Same idea with what's going on in the hands with hi-hat on 2 and 4. What's different this time is anything longer than an 8th note is now going to be played by the bass drum and a cymbal. If it's on the right hand, it's the right cymbal. If it's on the left hand, it's the left cymbal. So for example, if we're doing quarter notes, we're now... etc. Okay? That's what we're going to do while reading through these charts. And then when we get to pattern number 10, it's going to increase in complexity even more. So this one I'm going to play slower. But last time I did it at 115 apparently, and it was musical and fun. So let's try it at 115 again. I'm going to go back to my home tab of YouTube, where there's thousands of free exercises. Again, you have to click on the header because there's so much content inside of here for free. And if you see any of those members first ones, I promise they're all scheduled to release for free. There's just like 600 of them, so it might be a year and a half from now. But just click on a header. And if you want to like work on your technique, there's a ton of playlists inside of here, so you can work on your 3s and 4 strokes, or you can work on stick control, or you can work on endurance and speed of your feet, whatever. There's a lot of stuff in there. Like if you want to work on endurance and speed, there's 65 videos in there. That'll keep you busy for a while. And then, you know, over 16 hours of tips to help you practice it. Okay, I'm in the limb independence section. I'm playing this at 115, and it's a swung pattern. So I'm going to the swung charts. I'm going into 100 to 159 for the BPM. And if you're like, well, how do I be able to develop this limb independence? Go to here. every single one of these limb independence playlists links to this one, number 2, how to develop limb independence on the kit. It's got several steps to follow, and I've demonstrated them all on streams, so you can see how I practice. But I'm going to 115 using the timestamps in the description. Boop. And then I'm going to play along. So again, we're playing da 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 1, 2, ready, and so ding, ding, ding. Hi-hat stays on 2 and 4 the entire time. We're playing this at a nice, comfortable tempo. It's a little weird to figure out, like, wait, which hand's playing which cymbal doing what while doing all this. 1, a 2, a 1, 2, ready, and... Oops, right there, wrong. Cool, that's the basic pattern. And because we're playing at 115, this feels super slow. But it gives my brain more time to process it because it's like, wait, what hand plays where? What's going on? 1, 2, thank you for the like on the vertical. 2, ready, and... Thank you for the racks. Wrong hand. Oh no, cut! Darn it. I have to stop YouTube now. I read that wrong. I'm so sorry. It's been a fun ride. Yeah, get it? I'm playing on a ride. Yeah. 2, 1, 2, here we go. All jokes aside, mistakes will happen when you're reading charts. Whether you're practicing or performing, just keep going. Uh-oh. I was looking away, and then I lost my spot. Because I see there's a comment. And now I'm talking messes me up. You don't know anything about drumming? I seem cool? The air conditioner is on, so I agree. It is cool in here. But if you have questions about drumming, I've got over 16 hours of me responding to questions live on all these practice streams. But I appreciate the kind words, by the way. Wrong hand. There we go. Oh no. I keep reading the rhythms wrong. Hooked on phonics. I need a refund. Okay, this one, it starts off weird. It starts off in 5/8 for the rhythm groupings. 2, 1, 2, here we go. Holy, messed up. There we go. Okay, so most of the errors were, again, some reading errors. And you're like, that is neat, but like, would you do that for a whole song? No. So the purpose of this is to practice something that you might do for like a measure, like one of the big hits or something. So if you like see like on a chart, if you're in like jazz band, and you see it's just like vamp, 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 and then like on the 8th bar, it's like got some rhythms in here. Maybe you'd play through what I just did for like this measure right here, and like, that's it. Then you just go back to vamping on the kit. So this is to practice those moments, but you might not do some of these patterns that are in Dom's book, 50 Ways to Syncopation, this one. You might not do it for like an actual full chart, and some of them you would. So it depends on which one you're working on. But mostly technically proficient, some musicality added into it as well, other than my reading issues. But I had fun with it. Okay, so that's pattern number 9. And now, like I said, we're going to level up one more time. So now I'm going to review pattern number 10, which is slightly more complicated. The only thing we're doing differently is now we're going to add in diddles, so double strokes, on the taps. So if you're playing quarter notes, you're going to play tap 5s. As if you're playing 8th notes on a snare drum while reading through the charts. It's weird. It gets more complicated, but we're going to do this in 1 minute. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, sorry. I had to save a flock of seagulls from a forest fire. Okay, so let's do this pattern. Again, same pattern, adding in diddles on taps. Taps only. So if it's completely, like if it's just rest, then you're just gonna... And unfortunately, the drum trigger that I'm using on the mesh heads, which makes it way quieter, doesn't pick up all the sounds, especially on the low notes and faster notes. So if we're playing, you might hear that. And then all of a sudden you can't hear all those really fast diddles that are in there, despite the fact that I am able to play them. So wham wham. But we're only playing this at 110, so it should be like... I'm just kidding. It's not that slow. All right, 110. Again, I'm going back to my home tab, where you can find all the thousands of free resources. So inside of here, just click on any one of the headers to learn more about marching bass drum, or to practice your technique, or to get over 16 hours of tips and lessons, etc. You won't be immature, please. You will make questions. Did my hands get bruised from not stretching? Bruised? No. But if you don't stretch, your hands will get, forearms, hands, and fingers can get tight, and then that'll make it so that you can't play as fast or as relaxed as normal. So for example, like a lot of metal drummers like to do like just singles really fast, which is where you are like alternating. So if you are tight, you won't be able to like and like hold that for a long extended period of time. So by stretching and massaging, this helps with that, which actually, I forgot to demonstrate this, so this reminded me. Thank you for your question. But if you go into the drumming lessons section, the thing that I was mentioning is this video, the one that's got the thumbnail that says pain-free drumming. It's currently doing a title A/B test, so the title might be different for like, for you. But this one shows all the stretches and massages that I was just demonstrating. So, hey, look, that's me. But like the first one that I'm doing, it shows you better camera angles for that one. It also shows you some stretches if you do traditional grip. It shows you different motions that you can do. Like here's a traditional grip stretch that you can do. If you're a marimbist, so if you do 4 mallets with Stevens grip, that's a rotary motion as well. So that stretch is helpful for it. So check out this video. It's got good stretches and massages to do, as well as some aftercare to keep your hands nice and healthy. Again, as somebody who's been drumming for almost 30 years, I want to keep drumming another 30 years from now, so I'm trying to keep my hands nice and healthy, and so that video can help with that. There's also more videos like into the drumming lessons one. There's one about like what to do 10 minutes, 1 hour, and 5 hours after drumming, and so this talks about like how you can actually ice your hands and forearms, as well as use heating pads and some other stuff like things to eat immediately after drumming, or things to do like a few hours after drumming. And right now the thumbnail is do this after drumming. And again, I think this one's also running an A/B test, so the title might be different, but you can check that out if you want to learn more about like the aftercare to keep your hands nice and healthy. Because if you lose your hands, like good luck being able to drum. As somebody who almost had to stop drumming because of that. So for context, at the time during my undergrad, I was on a full ride in percussion performance as a music education student, and I got an injury in my arm where like I could not drum for a month, and being on a performance scholarship and not being able to practice like did not work out well for me. So I was like, all right, I gotta like prevent this from happening again, which is when I went to that hand specialist to like figure out what can I do to take care of my arms and my fingers, etc., and then refine my technique over time. And so the things that I've learned, I've shared in like these drumming tips playlists as well as the lessons playlist. But anyways, sorry, I just ranted. Limb independence. See what happens when you like ask a good question? I will give you a response. But if you act immature, then I just like, I send you to the principal's office. But that was a good question, so thank you. I appreciate you. We're doing this at what, 110, I think? Yes, 7 million beats a minute. 110, okay. All right, so, oh no, I forget what chart I just did. I think it was 31 through 35. So let's go to the next one, 36 through 40. And I'm doing this at 110. So I'm going to click the timestamps in the description. But again, these play-alongs can go as slow as 20 beats a minute or as fast as 240. And if you really want to go faster, you can actually do that using the little gear icon. You can go as fast as 4 times as fast or at a quarter the speed. So you can go really slow. You do you. All right. It's going to count off in my headphones, but you won't hear it. It's muted on your end. 2, 1, 2, dun, dun, dun. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so again, hi-hat stays on 2 and 4 the entire time. I'm doing alternating triplets. Reading through the line, quarter notes and longer on here, while doing diddles on taps. Here we go. the top line of any of these charts. You can improvise. You can just play the ostinato. You can take a coffee break. You can say you love your significant others. I can't talk. Whatever you want to do. You do you. You can also love yourself. Say like, hey, self, you're great. Oops. There we go. Keep messing up the, like, which hand I'm supposed to play it at. Like, is it supposed to be a right hand crash? Is it supposed to be a left hand crash? That's where my issues were on that particular chart. Refocus. Try again. 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Almost lost my stick. Unintentional stick trick. Solving. Flipping my sticks around. Let's try. Oh no, I dropped it. Oh, that's why we don't do stick tricks. 1, 2, here we go. Alright, cool. Last chart. That one was better from a reading standpoint. Yay! Maybe hooked on phonics. I don't need to get a refund for it. I just need to practice more. My literacy skills. 2, ready, and... Man, it's like, because my background's in like rudimental, like with rudimental drumming, if you were to play this, like you would like keep those taps nice and low, whatever you're doing for your interior notes, but you can't hear those taps, those double strokes if I'm doing that. on this because this drum trigger is cheap. I don't recommend it. But, you know, if you want a cheap one, it sort of works. Just not for all those faster stuff, low stuff, etc. It was mostly technically proficient. Most of my issues, again, was just like reading errors. But, I was making progress on it. Okay, so that's pattern 8, 9, and 10. So they're all kind of building off of each other. Let's see. What is the next one? Alright, so Samba feet, play the line with unison hands. Right hand is on the ride, left is on the snare drum. Okay, let me paste that on here so you can see what I'm doing. Last time I played through this, apparently it was musical, and we played through it at 170. Okay. So this pattern, Samba pattern, same thing as a bossa nova. It's just a difference in speed, so Sambas are usually faster. But bossa nova, a right, left, right, 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 right. However fast you're playing the Samba. All I'm going to do is just read through the patterns as unison, so it's double stops. Both the right and the left hand playing the same thing. Now, to make things more interesting, I might add in some buzz or crushes, which you can't really hear because of this drum trigger not picking it up, but I might extend the length of it, or I might play on the bell with the side or shaft of the stick as opposed to playing with the bead or head of the stick on the side of the cymbal. So, like, just gives it different timbres, different textures. We're trying to make it musical. Now, because this is a straight pattern, I can't do these swung drum charts, but I can do the straight charts. If I go back to the home tab, scroll down, past the chop stuff, past the grid stuff, in the limb independent section, like all these different sections, you got to click the header. And I'm doing 170 straight drum charts. Whoop. And again, all of those playlists in the limb independent section shows you how to develop limb independence. Just watch this video. And we just did 36 through 40, so to practice sight reading, I'm going to the next set of charts. There's 55 of them, so it'll keep you busy. So that way, when you get through it, and you go all the way back to the first chart, you're like, I don't remember this. That's the whole point. You don't want to just practice one set of charts, or one chart. That's a waste of your time. But first, kohi. Hoto kohi o nomimasu. Oishikatta desu. Alright, here we go. Go. 1, 2, ready, and Okay, so again, reading unison on the hands. A 1, a 2, here we go. I left off an eighth note. I'm so sorry. Oh no, I gotta start all the way over again at 1 beat a minute. No, 1, 2, here we go. Now you notice I'm adding in accents, taps, changing dynamics, changing the timbres, the textures. I'm trying to make it musical. Rather than just playing the ink on the page, it makes it all sound like mechanical or robotic if you're... as opposed to... the goal with all of them is not just to play the ink on the page, technically proficient, but just to make it musical by adding in these extra layers of textures and timbres onto what you're playing. .58, by the way. That's a weird chart. I can say that. I wrote it. Okay, last chart. A 1, a 2. That was musical. So that was, overall, not only just playing the rhythms on the charts, but adding in the extra stuff to make it sound better than that. Okay? I had fun with it. Yay. Let's mark that as reviewed. Check. Now again, normally, what I've done over this last, year of drum kit streams is going through every single one of these. Column A is keeping track of how it's doing on average. Is it technically proficient? Is it musical? Is it meh, or does it need a lot of work? And I've been focusing on the ones that were meh, or needs a lot of work, so they didn't sound good. Which is why I warmed up with this one, which was that 3/4 swung over straight pattern, where we had this, which is a 3/4 pattern, Soca feel. While reading the chart swung. Go back and you'll see what I'm talking about. But that one I'm not good at yet, which is why I started with it. And then I've been reviewing stuff that I've already graduated from. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna do one more. It's also Samba. So this Samba pattern is a little bit different. Same thing with the feet. But what I'm gonna do now is play Now the right hand is going to play the ride pattern, the charts rather. And the left hand is going to fill in ghost notes. So if I'm playing quarter notes on the right hand, reading those on the charts, I'm going to go... which is going to create some really interesting sounding rhythms. Now, you're supposed to play them as ghost notes, but I have to play them a little bit higher so you can hear them with this drum trigger. But keep them low when you're practicing them, unless you also have that drum trigger that isn't very sensitive. Apparently, I did it at 150 and it was musical, but I just played at 170. Let's go in between. Let's split the difference. Let's try it at 160. We'll see how that goes. So I'm going to go back to my home tab. I'm scrolling past all these things. I'm in the limb independent section. I click. I'm playing a straight chart at 160. And I just did 41 through 45, so I'm just going to go to the next one in here, 46 through 50. Every one of these charts that I wrote is different. Some are harder, and some are easier. It depends on what pattern you're playing and what kind of rhythms are in it. But they're all unique little snowflakes. Okay, so again, reading everything on the right, on the ride. The left hand is just filling in with this whenever I'm not playing with the right hand. What? Sorry. I get goofy. Again, you can improvise here. Just take a break, play the ostinato, whatever you want to do. Now I'm adding in bell hits on the long notes. So quarter notes and longer, I'm playing them on the bell, and then I'm playing with the bead on the eighth notes. Oh, I thought that was the last chart. There's more. Yay, we did it. High five me. Cool. That was number 12. Oh, that's funny. Looking at it, I technically did 12.1, which was adding in the different timbre change for the longer notes. So we'll review that one again next time. So when I practice these drum kit streams, if you go back to here and you go scroll past all these thousands of play alongs and you go into the tips and lessons section. But inside of these live streams, there's almost 500 of them where I answer questions live on stream. And if I don't have questions, then I just practice. But you'll notice that I practice the stuff that I'm not good at yet. So for example, practicing limb independence patterns number 47, 52, and 53. If you scroll back earlier, pattern number 41, 41.1, and 42. So I'm playing the stuff that I'm not good at. And if you look inside of here, for any one of these, there are timestamps in the description to show how long I was practicing each one of these. So example, pattern number 41, I did all the way up to 23 minutes. And then for this one, 41.1, I did from basically the 29-minute mark all the way up to the 49-minute mark. So I spent 7,000 hours just in this section, if you math correctly. Trust me, I'm a doctor. For each one of these, I'm spending time on the stuff that I'm not good at yet. But if you look at this, I've graduated from it now. So column A is keeping track of how am I doing on average while doing this. So back then, these were meh or needed a lot of work. So if you start with the stuff that you're not good at and you front load that at the beginning, then it makes it so that when you're practicing, you're more focused. You're more ready to go as opposed to exhausted. If you save the review for the end, like I've been doing, reviewing these patterns, then that makes it so that, again, you focus on the stuff that you need to do to improve, and then you review the things that you already need to do. I've had too many students back when I used to teach privately, or even when I taught publicly, They'd just like sit there and just like chop out and whatnot if they were like a rudimental drummer, and they just like play as fast as they possibly can forever. And then they don't improve because they're not focusing on the stuff that they need to get better. So if you look at these drum kit streams, or if you like look at, I don't know, this one, advanced stick control with filler. So when I played through this, I'm playing through it right here at 111. And then we're playing through it slower as well. So I'm playing this one at 51. I've been drumming for almost 30 years, and I still slow these things down to like 40 beats a minute. So like if I can practice these and go one click at a time faster, I'm speeding up here, skipping ahead, and play at this slow speeds, tempi, then you can too. So I'm trying to model the stuff that I wish like my students used to like do when they were practicing, and that I hope that you do as well, using any of these thousands of free resources that you can find on my home tab right here. Just again, click on any of the headers and that'll expand it. Your favorite type of limb independence technique is the one using I don't know that one. But yeah, I like a lot of limb independent stuff. Beginners just getting into limb independence should try that. Yeah, so Dom's book, the one that I'm like reviewing while going through this, again, it's 50 Ways of Syncopation by Dom Moyle. Highly recommend it. It's good. And even Gary Chester's book, New Breed 1 and New Breed 2. You can play any of those patterns with the limb independent stuff here, but start with the basics. So like the one that I warmed up with that was a 3/4 swung over straight pattern, don't do that at all. Like if you are beginner or even intermediate, no, don't try that stuff. So if you go into any one of these playlists that's in the limb independence section, I've got this video, which is how to develop limb independence on the kit, and it's got the steps that I use to be able to develop limb independence for all these different things, patterns that I'm going through. So like this is step 1. Here we are in step 2 using these free resources on my home tab. Step 3, we're starting to get into some charts, etc. So if you look through here, this shows you how to do it, but the last 2/3 of this video, maybe even 3/4, is a variety of different patterns. Some of them are simple patterns, some of them are complicated patterns that you can play through. So if you're doing like the very basic, like ding, 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 you can read through these charts. Where you do like either all of it on the snare drum or like short notes, eighth notes, swung on here, long notes on the bass drum, or you can do other stuff that like looks fancy but isn't, where you're just playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and etc., where you're just reading the chart with the bass drum while you just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on the cymbals and the snare. So there's a variety of stuff that you can do if you're a beginner to start with the basic stuff. But again, this video shows you some complicated stuff, some simple stuff, but more importantly, it shows you the steps to develop this. This is something that like I could not do. I'm not a drum kit player. I do rudimental and then concert percussion, and then less than 1% of my time has been on the drum kit. So like me practicing, the total amount of practicing that I've done on drum kit for my entire like almost 30 years of drumming has almost been all on the stream. So like you can see when I was not very good, and then I've gotten better over time with it by following the steps that are inside of here. But if you're not a drum kit player, that's cool. I'm a rudimental drummer as well, so you can like check out all these things. I'd recommend taking a look at the chop stuff if you want to have fun with like the shopping spree playlist. Grid variations to work on your rudiments. There's over 1,000 of these. There's a reason for that, because they're important to work on your rudiments. But the most important section is the technique section, so you can refine your drumming by going slow, which is what I'm going to do in tomorrow's stream. I'll be back on a drum pad, and then 2 days from now, I'll be back on the limb independence stuff, grinding this out. But if you've got a question for a future stream or that you want to ask on a video, I do reply to them as long as I don't need to send you to timeout. But the answers that I've given to all these different Q&A that I've gotten is in this playlist under the tips and lessons section. There's over 16 hours of answers in just here. Well, hello, on YouTube Vertical. So the title is the first thing that I talk about, like tips for improving your buzz rolls. And then if it says and other drumming tips, there's more tips in there. And As always, if you see any of those members first ones, like this one, they're all scheduled to release for free. It might be a year and a half from now because there's like 600 of them, with more to come. But the join button is how you get that early access for 99 cents. But again, I promise it's all coming out for free. So I don't sell a course. I don't sell an app. I don't sell a book. I don't teach privately anymore. I'm just trying to create this content for free. And it's just early access. So none of my educational content or anything is going to be behind a paywall. But I'm going to call it here. I'm going to get ready for Ghost of Yote. We're in the final area, I think, in Chapter 2. So stay tuned for that. But if you enjoy these resources, just share it with somebody else. And if you do not enjoy these resources, then I just ask that you share it with an enemy. Goodbye.